What is up, everybody? This is the 31st shelf of my action movie collection. Starting off with The Legend of Zorro. Pretty solid sequel. I enjoyed the first one more than this one, but this one was still had all the fun of the first one. It's good that they retained the same director. But I don't know, it just didn't seem as good as the first one. I guess I kind of miss Anthony Hopkins' character in this one, but it is what it is. Still a very solid watch if you haven't seen it. Then we have Master and Commander, The Far Side of the World. This was an okay watch. I guess it was supposed to be a part of a trilogy. But I don't know if it was... I know it didn't do well in the theater, which is why it probably didn't happen. But I wasn't super impressed with this movie, but it was not bad either. Then we have From Paris with Love with John Travolta. It was from the same director as Taken, and they were trying to revitalize John Travolta's career as an action star, kind of like they did with Liam Neeson. And this one was okay, but it wasn't fantastic. It was more of a straight to DVD release, in my opinion. Then we have Goodfellas with Robert De Niro and Ray Liotta and Joe Pesci. This is a classic, obviously, Martin Scorsese movie. Not as good as Casino. I still prefer Casino over this one, but still a very, very good movie. Then we have 300. I love these medieval war movies, and this one took it to a whole nother level. I haven't seen the Spartacus series yet, but I heard if I like this movie that I will love that series. So I'm hoping that's right. But I loved Lena Headey and Gerard Butler in this movie. Absolutely phenomenal movie. Definitely one of those movies I go back and watch every year. Then we have Steve Austin in Damage. I like this movie. It was actually very, very enjoyable. Kind of a throwback to old school action in a way. Stone Cold Steve Austin and Walton Goggins did an amazing job in this movie together. Great chemistry. I know Austin didn't like the grind of making movies, which is why he doesn't make them anymore. But he had talent. I liked his movies. Then we have Alpha Dog. I absolutely love this movie. Bruce Willis. I mainly bought it because of Bruce Willis way back when. But other stars in this movie stole the movie. Amanda Seyfried did great. Ben Foster did amazing. Justin Timberlake. I mean, it really showcased a lot of young stars at the time and did a phenomenal job doing it. Definitely worth checking out if you haven't seen it before. Then we have The Hunted. I remember seeing this in the theater way back when. And it's a pretty solid watch. It wasn't like the best movie I've ever seen, but it was still very, very solid. I'm not a huge Benicio del Toro fan, but one of his better movies. Then we have Breach. Kind of a low-budget political thriller kind of movie. Great cast. A pretty solid watch, too. I mean, Billy Ray does a great job in this, this movie. Give it a chance before you kind of shut it down. Then we have Endgame with Cuba Gooding Jr. and James Woods. Straight to DVD release. And it looks like it too. Not the best movie. Burt Reynolds in this movie was horrible. The direction was horrible. Just not worth watching. I'd skip this if I were you. Comments down below if you've seen it and you think differently. Then we have Lock Up with Sylvester Stallone. Can never go wrong with a classic Sylvester Stallone action movie, and this is that. Very solid watch, very well done. One of his earlier movies, but still phenomenal, phenomenal job. And then we've got the Metal Pack Rambo trilogy here. You get the bonus discs and all that stuff with special features and that. I'm going to have definitely upgrade this to 4K at some point here. I bought this way a long time ago. Gotta have Rambo. 100% gotta have Rambo. But the first one out of these original three was definitely the best one. I remember when I was a kid, I loved the third one, and I watched that, and I was like, wow, this is This is not that good as an adult. And then we have the best Rambo of all time, Rambo 4. This hit on all cylinders. I wish it would have ended with this one instead of Last Blood. Otherwise, I wish Last Blood would have kept a lot of the elements of this one. This was brutal, and I loved it. I mean, this almost put the Expendables to shame right here. Then we have Jarhead. Solid watch, kind of slow moving, more character driven than action driven about the war in Iraq and everything, and still a solid watch though. I guess there were some B-movie sequels to this I've never seen before. Whether or not they're good or not, I don't know. If you've seen any of those, definitely comment down below to see if I should check those out. But yeah. Then we have Panic Room. You know, classic for sure for thrillers. Jodie Foster does amazing in this movie. Low budget, but very, very good. I love this movie. Then we have the Skulls trilogy. Yep, this is all 3 movies together. And believe it or not, all 3 of them were actually very solid watches. The first one was obviously the best one, but the other 2 were not sleep-on movies at all. So definitely worth checking out the other 2 if you haven't seen them. Then we have Transit with Jim Caviezel and James Frain. Solid action B-movie watch. This came out at the same time as El Gringo and Dragon Eyes with Jean-Claude Van Damme from the same studio. It kind of came out, I'm guessing, to kind of pump that old school action out there. And solid watch. Then we have Last Man Standing with Bruce Willis. This is a guilty favorite of mine. I love going back to watch this movie. This was John Wick before John Wick was John Wick, and it was like a mix between John Wick and a Western, or old school gangster style, whatever you want to call it. But absolutely phenomenal, very violent. One of my favorite Bruce Willis movies of all time right here. Then we have Tango and Cash with Sylvester Stallone and Kurt Russell. Again, can't go wrong. You know, got to have all the Sylvester Stallone movies, you know. So, very, very solid watch. These 2 did really well together. Surprised there wasn't a sequel. But, did very well together. That does not mean I want to see a sequel now when they're way, you know, no. Don't make one now. Then we have Insomnia with Al Pacino, Robin Williams, and Hilary Swank. One of Christopher Nolan's first type of movies, and it was a solid watch. You know, obviously not along the budgets of the movies he does now. But, you know, when you're just starting out, you know, to have a cast like this is amazing. And so, very, very solid watch. Then we have Rush Hour. Classic Jackie Chan, Chris Tucker. Chemistry's great between these 2. Phenomenal watch. You know, worth checking out for sure. Then we have Rush Hour 2, of course. I liked this one out better than the first one. This would probably actually be my favorite of the Rush Hour movies. Comment down below which Rush Hour you like the most. And then, of course, we've got Rush Hour 3. You got to have all 3, you know. And, you know, this one was a little bit lower than the other ones, but still a solid watch compared to other things that were out at the time. And then lastly, we have Supercross. Just one of those movies I grabbed out of the, you know, what was it, 4 for $20 back in the day? You know, a Blockbuster when they were trying to get rid of their old movies and all that. And I just kind of grabbed this one saying, oh, it might be interesting. You know, I liked her from One Tree Hill, Sophia Bush. So I checked it out, and it's a very solid watch. I thought this movie was not going to be as good as it was, and I love to jump, you know, be surprised by a movie, and this one definitely does that. So worth checking out for sure if you haven't seen it before. But that will do it for this shelf. If you like content like this, please like and subscribe. Your support is much appreciated. I'm also over on Letterboxd. The link to that is in the profile description of this channel. Otherwise, until next time, guys, have a good one.